Hey everybody, it's Chapman for Passion Hit TV. Really excited because today you get to meet Erik Proulx. He's a film director and storyteller. Now, I sat down with Erik on a park bench while we were both at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. Now, if you've ever been there before, it is not easy to find a quiet place to do an interview. So I apologize for the constant traffic, trucks, and other noises that are going on in the background. But it is what it is. There was no way I was going to pass up an opportunity to sit down with this man who I really respect, and he's a good buddy. Definitely check out his movies Lemonade and Lemonade Detroit. The links will be over at passionhit.tv. Also, quick word from the sponsors. Amtrak, of course, as you know, is the exclusive 2012 sponsor of Passion Hit TV. Coming up on May 12th, they've got National Train Day. I know I'm planning on going to the events in New York City, but there's events happening all over the country. And if you want to start an event in your town, you can do that as well. Go to nationaltrainday.com for details, event listings, and also to watch some cool stories from other people of how trains fit into their lives. I really dig what they've done over there. nationaltrainday.com. Anyways, on with the show. Erik, take it away.
I'm Erik Proulx. I am passionate about storytelling, filmmaking, writing, anything that has to do with communicating one person's great story to somebody else. So a lot of people have this thing when they're kids and they know, like, and as they get older, they have to remember what they really love doing. I happen to have a really ridiculously short-term memory. So all the stuff that there's not much that I remember before I was like 9 or 10. But even then, I remember thinking that I was like, I wanted to go to Sloan School of Business, right? And it became clear pretty early on that that was never going to happen, you know. So, but the earliest thing that I can remember from a youngest age that really kind of triggered that I would love to be a storyteller was, I think it was like in my 7th or 8th grade, teacher said, "Hey, you're a really good writer." Like for a kid to get that kind of compliment from it was my 8th grade teacher actually. He said, like, you can really write. And I remember that sort of sinking in and thinking maybe I'll pursue that in one way or another, you know. And took more writing classes in high school and then ended up becoming an English major in college. But even that's evolved. But that's sort of, I think my earliest memory of like really kind of finding something that I like to do that could become a career. So there's two lemonades. The first lemonade actually happened because I was a 3-time advertising agency layoffee. Okay? I got I mentioned that I was discovered that I like to write in high school and college, and then that turned into an advertising career where I actually was writing commercials and print ads and web banners and radio commercials for different advertising clients. And that's a very cyclical agency and a cyclical career, and I ended up losing my job a few times. And then in 2008, after my 3rd layoff, I was like, I don't really want to go through that anymore, you know, and it sort of forced me to look inward and figure out what I really like to do. I ended up making a film about other people who got laid off and reinvented their careers, and that was the first Lemonade. And that has since evolved into a second film called Lemonade Detroit, which is about people which is about a whole city that's reinventing itself. Get angry, get angry at anybody who tells you that you can't do something, that you shouldn't do something. Prove them wrong. And don't just quit your job and go do it. Be intelligent about it, be smart about it, and think of where your art and the commerce for that art intersect. Because it's a lot of fun to say "I told you so." So there was a point with Lemonade Detroit that I had given myself a deadline. I said I needed to get X amount of funding by, it was at the end of last year, and I didn't get there. I wasn't there yet. But Pam Slim, who we've discussed a bit, I've had a chance to I've had a chance to kind of get to know Pam Slim over the last couple of years, who is one of the loveliest, most insightful people that you'll ever meet. And if you ever get a chance to, definitely read her book, Escape from Cubicle Nation. But if you ever get a chance to meet her, you'll feel just as connected to her as I do. She's that kind of person. But she said, you know, if you're looking for a sort of reason for this to exist, right? I mean, if you're trying to make it, if you're trying to find a you know, because at the time, we do a little bit of backstory. At the time, there were 2 or 3 other films that were kind of similar in the space, and I was, you know, okay, you know, these guys are well funded. You know, they have, one of them one of them had an Oscar nomination a couple years ago. And I was like, okay, I mean, that's my competition. Does it make sense for me to keep doing it? And she basically said, you know, you're not doing this because of the competition or to be first or being, you know, you're doing this as a voice for people that you connect with. You know, and the reasons that you do it, you know, you have a very pure reason for doing it, and they is to sort of inspire people in a city who are feeling like they're maybe at the end of a rope, or they're feeling like there's no other answer besides automobiles coming back. I mean, to actually give them, a lot like what you're doing, give them a sense of purpose. And that was giving them a sense of purpose was my sense of purpose. And Pam clarified that for me and kind of gave me the insight to kind of keep moving. First of all, you need the support internally, and you think of your family as your system, right? And you need that system support. And my wife has been amazing. I mean, and there have been very challenging times, you know, very trying moments where it's, you know, is this going to happen? You know, is it always going to be like this? And I said, and my response is, if we're going to actually make a go at this, you know, I heard Seth Godin say he spent something like 6 years being on the verge of bankruptcy, you know, where he never knew exactly if he was going to be able to make this thing happen, and then now he's Seth Godin. So, you know, I keep kind of going, you know, there are these moments of like great hope, and everything is, you know, so I think the first thing is you need that sort of support, especially from your spouse if you're married and you have kids. But keeping it going is, you know, I'm looking at it like, in a way, you're taking a bigger risk. If I were going to go take a full-time job again somewhere, and I've been offered a few, right? If I'm going to go take a full-time job again, you're putting your life in the hands of their ability to make money, their ability to stay profitable, keep the stockholders happy. You know, and that is a way riskier proposition than me going out and hustling every day, I think. You know, I'd much rather trust myself than trust a company to keep me employed. So I can't think of a specific person, but I can tell you the kind of person that you know, the circumstances that I would love, and maybe there's somebody who, but it's someone who has found a way to balance, right? So they are both really good at what they do for a living. They have found a way to become among the best in their fields, but also have found a way to become to be a present father, to be a present husband, and to be someone who spends their physical and mental energy on their lives outside of work. And finding that balance is, you know, I always feel like if I'm doing one thing, I'm dropping a ball on the other, you know. And if that's you, I'll trade lives with you, you know. Like I think that's probably the biggest. And I don't know who that person is, but I want to find it. There's a quote, and I'm not sure who said it, but there's a quote that I've been trying to live my life by for the last going on 3 years now, and it is most people would rather be unhappy than uncertain, right? And I want that. I've been trying to live my life in the reverse of that, because I am certainly happier than I was as a gainfully employed, you know, salary man. and I'm certainly more uncertain than I was as a gainfully employed salaryman. So I'm sacrificing certainty, and certainty is really just false. It's a false sense of certainty when you're working full time, right? But I feel like I've sacrificed that perception of certainty for immense amounts of happiness and satisfaction to call my own shots and live my own life and be my own person. And if you're in whatever situation that you're in, if you're just feeling like, you know what, I get up in the morning, I look forward to Mondays. I look, you know, when I have to stop work, it makes me a little sad. Or then there's no reason to change, right? Just keep doing what you're doing. But if you're feeling like there's something that you want in your life, and the only reason you're doing it is because of the uncertainty of what that will bring, then it's time to ask yourself some hard questions and move forward with that thing that's burning inside you. That little thing, that little question that's asking what if.